Throughout history, the wisest minds have understood one profound truth. Your mind is the master architect of your destiny. It crafts your beliefs, directs your actions, and ultimately shapes whether you meet success or fall to defeat. Yet many of us barely scratch the surface of our mental capacity. We let uncertainties, limiting beliefs, and unseen fears hinder our growth. But what if there was a way to break free from these mental chains? The Stoic philosopher Epictetus taught us that we suffer not from the events in our lives, but from our judgment about them. We often feel restrained, not by the hurdles of the external world, but by the barriers we construct in our minds. What if you could rewire your thinking and unlock a new realm of possibilities? In this video, we're diving into powerful, actionable strategies that will help you unleash the latent power of your mind, potentially altering the course of your life forever. If you're ready to embark on this transformative journey, drop a "I'm ready" in the comments below, and let's get started. 1. Focus on progress over perfection. It's easy to get caught up in the quest for perfection. We often hold ourselves to impossibly high standards, believing that everything must be flawless before we can consider it a success. But let's take a minute to rethink this mindset. Imagine how much more you could achieve if you shifted your focus from being perfect to making progress. This is where the wisdom of Stoicism really shines, teaching us to value the journey and the lessons learned along the way more than the final outcome. Stoicism reminds us that our control over external events is limited, but our control over our reactions and our dedication to improvement is where true growth occurs. Instead of beating yourself up for not being perfect, what if you celebrated each small step forward? It's about appreciating that every attempt, every minor improvement, is part of a larger journey towards excellence. This approach not only boosts your morale, but also keeps you engaged and less likely to give up. Consider the way a sculptor works on a piece of marble. They don't start with a perfect statue. They chip away bit by bit, each strike of the chisel contributing to the final masterpiece. Each minor adjustment is progress, and every piece of excess stone removed reveals a bit more of the final form. If the sculptor only focused on the perfect end product, the daunting task could seem insurmountable. But focusing on each small action allows for steady progress and growth. In our own lives, adopting this mindset means setting realistic, incremental goals. Break down your larger objectives into manageable tasks and celebrate the completion of each one. This method reduces the overwhelm that often accompanies big projects and helps prevent the paralysis that perfectionism can cause. Remember Epictetus's guidance that it's not what happens to you, but how you react that matters. By focusing on progress, you choose to react positively to your own efforts, fostering a resilient and adaptable mindset. So, let go of the notion that everything must be perfect before you can feel successful. Embrace each step of progress, no matter how small, and watch as it accumulates into significant change. This is the essence of living stoically, finding value and growth in the process rather than the perfection of the end result. By shifting your focus in this way, not only will your tasks seem more achievable, but you'll also find greater satisfaction and motivation in the work you're doing today. 2. Learn from the best. Seek mentorship. There's something truly transformative about learning from someone who has walked the path before you. Mentorship isn't just about absorbing knowledge or skills. It's about experiencing a personal transformation that often comes from the insights and guidance of a seasoned guide. This connection can be a powerful catalyst for growth, pushing you beyond your perceived limits and expanding your understanding of what's possible. In the realm of Stoicism, the role of a mentor is to illustrate how to live according to virtue and practical wisdom. just as Seneca learned from his teachers and Marcus Aurelius from his. Having a mentor means having someone to mirror the values and disciplines you aspire to embody. This is crucial because it's not just about what we learn, but how we apply that learning to our lives. A mentor can provide context and clarity, showing you how to navigate challenges and apply Stoic principles like focus, discipline, and resilience in everyday situations. Think about it this way. When you face a tough decision or a major career move, having a mentor to turn to can make all the difference. They provide a sounding board based on their own experiences, and often they see potential in us that we might overlook ourselves. They push us out of our comfort zones into new challenges that refine our character and capabilities. This guidance is invaluable because it isn't just theoretical, it's grounded in real-world application. Moreover, a mentor's impact extends beyond specific advice on discrete challenges. They shape how you think, enhance how you perceive challenges, and encourage you to act with integrity and purpose. Their stories and experiences become lessons in resilience and persistence, teaching you not just to survive the trials of life, but to thrive through them. Stoicism teaches us that it's not the events in our lives that affect us, but our responses to them. A good mentor helps you to cultivate a response that is measured, thoughtful, and aligned with your deepest values. And how do you find such a mentor? Start by identifying the qualities you admire and seek out individuals who embody them. This could be in your professional network, within your community, or even among the authors of books that have impacted your life. Reach out, ask questions, and express your admiration for their path. Remember, the relationship should be mutually beneficial, grounded in respect, and a genuine desire for growth. 3. Let go of the past to free your future. Navigating through life with emotional baggage is like trying to run a marathon with a heavy backpack. It slows you down and makes the journey far more exhausting than it needs to be. We all carry these invisible burdens, whether they're lingering regrets, unresolved conflicts, or deep-seated fears from past experiences. Addressing this emotional weight doesn't just lighten your load, it opens up a pathway to a more fulfilling and liberated existence. Stoicism offers a powerful perspective here. It teaches us that our perceptions of past events, rather than the events themselves, shape our current emotional state. Imagine if you could look at a past event and see it not as a permanent scar, but as a lesson that has the potential to strengthen and refine you. Stoics focus on the present, on what can be controlled, our attitudes and reactions. They advocate for observing our emotions objectively, understanding their origins, and then deciding consciously not to let them dictate our present actions. So how do you begin to unpack and sort through this emotional baggage? Start with introspection. Reflect on what feelings are holding you back and ask yourself why. Are these feelings based on current reality, or are they shadows of the past still looming over your present? This reflective practice isn't about suppressing your emotions, but understanding them deeply so you can manage them effectively. Acknowledging your feelings is the first step towards gaining control over them rather than letting them control you. Next, it's crucial to practice forgiveness, both towards others and yourself. Forgiveness can be incredibly challenging, especially when deep hurt is involved, but it is also incredibly liberating. It doesn't mean condoning wrong behavior or forgetting what happened. It means freeing yourself from the burden of resentment. Remember, as Epictetus said, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Forgiving is not about changing the past, but about ensuring that the past no longer dictates your future. Another practical step is to cultivate resilience by reframing your narrative. Instead of viewing your past experiences as purely negative, try to find the strength or wisdom each experience brought you. This doesn't diminish the pain you felt, but empowers you to take ownership of how you let it affect you going forward. You can't change the past, but you can choose the story you tell yourself about it. Dealing with emotional baggage is about ongoing work. It's not a one-time cleanup, but a continuous process of self-awareness, adjustment, and acceptance. Engaging in practices like meditation, journaling, or therapy can also provide supportive frameworks as you work through your emotions. These tools can help create a space of calm and clarity in which you can process and move forward. 4. Harness the power of repetition and visualization. Imagine if you could plant a thought in your mind that grows into a powerful belief, shaping your actions and ultimately your destiny. This isn't just a whimsical idea, it's the essence of using repetition and visualization, two powerful tools that can literally rewire your brain and set the stage for achieving your goals. It's about creating a mental blueprint of where you want to go and then reinforcing that vision until it becomes a part of who you are. Stoicism teaches us that we become what we think about most. Marcus Aurelius often wrote about the importance of focusing your thoughts on what you desire rather than what you fear. By frequently visualizing your success and repeating positive affirmations, you can start to see these outcomes as not only possible, but inevitable. This practice isn't about wishful thinking. It's about systematically conditioning your mind to recognize and pursue paths to success. Let's dive deeper into how you can use these techniques effectively. Start with visualization. Picture yourself achieving your goals in vivid detail. What does it look like? What are you doing? Who is with you? How do you feel? Engaging as many senses as you can makes the experience more real and powerful. This mental rehearsal primes your brain to recognize and seize opportunities that align with your goals, as if you've already experienced success and are just walking the path a second time. Alongside visualization, employ repetition. This is where affirmations come into play. Choose a set of positive, present tense statements that reinforce your capability and potential. Phrases like, "I am capable," "I am worthy," or "I succeed in my endeavors" are potent reminders of your intrinsic value and potential. Repeat these daily, ideally out loud, to fortify their impact. The constant repetition not only boosts your self-esteem, but also combats any negative or self-limiting beliefs that can sabotage your progress. Integrating these practices into your daily routine can be transformative. For example, make visualization a part of your morning or evening ritual and find times throughout the day for your affirmations, like during a commute or while exercising. Over time, these methods will not only change how you think, but also how you act, as your brain and body start to align with the new reality you're creating. Remember, the Stoics were big on practice and consistency. They didn't just ponder philosophical concepts, they lived them through daily practice. Epictetus often said that just as a musician practices to refine their art, a philosopher practices to refine their soul. In your case, think of repetition and visualization as your daily practice for refining your mind and sculpting your future. By regularly visualizing your success and reinforcing it with repeated affirmations, you're not just dreaming about the future, you're actively constructing it. It's about more than just hope. It's about creating a concrete mental and emotional foundation that guides your decisions and actions towards the life you want to live. 5. Build a foundation with continuous learning. Life constantly throws challenges our way, and how we respond to these challenges shapes the trajectory of our lives. One of the most effective tools for not only surviving but thriving through these challenges is continuous learning. It's about keeping your mind active, curious, and open to new experiences and information, which in turn builds your resilience and equips you with new skills and knowledge to tackle life's hurdles. The Stoics were particularly keen on the idea of lifelong learning, emphasizing that wisdom comes from a constant pursuit of knowledge and self-improvement. Seneca famously said, "As long as you live, keep learning how to live." He believed that learning was integral to personal resilience because it strengthens the mind and prepares it to deal with complexities of life. This philosophy is more relevant today than ever because the world we live in is constantly changing, and adapting through learning is crucial to maintaining personal and professional relevance. So, how do you incorporate continuous learning into your life in a way that builds resilience? First, cultivate a mindset that views challenges as opportunities to learn rather than obstacles to avoid. When you encounter something new or difficult, instead of backing away, lean in with curiosity. Ask questions, seek out resources, and try to understand the situation from multiple perspectives. This approach not only broadens your understanding, but also diminishes the fear and anxiety that often accompany unknown situations. Next, set aside time for deliberate learning. This doesn't necessarily mean going back to school or formal training, although those can be excellent options. It can be as simple as reading books, listening to podcasts, attending workshops, or even engaging in thoughtful conversations with peers or mentors. The key is consistency. Make learning a regular part of your routine, just like you would with exercise for physical health. Additionally, apply the knowledge you gain in practical, real-world situations. This application solidifies the learning and gives you a chance to experiment and refine your understanding. It's one thing to read about negotiation tactics or leadership principles. It's another to use them in a meeting or lead a project team. Real-world application not only reinforces the learning, but also boosts your confidence in your ability to handle similar situations in the future. Finally, reflect on your learning journey regularly. Reflection helps you recognize your growth, understand what methods work best for you, and identify areas where you need more improvement. It's a vital part of the learning process that the Stoics practiced diligently. They often examined their actions and thoughts at the end of each day to assess their progress and alignment with Stoic principles. 6. Action beats perfection every time. It's a common trap to wait for the perfect moment before starting something important. We often think we need the perfect conditions, the perfect timing, or the perfect set of skills before we can begin. But let's be honest, the perfect moment is a myth. It never arrives. What does arrive, however, is the opportunity to take action, however imperfectly. This approach is not just about doing, it's about learning through doing. The Stoics were big proponents of action. They believed that virtue and wisdom are demonstrated not through thought alone, but through behavior. As Marcus Aurelius put it, waste no more time arguing what a good man should be one. This call to action is a reminder that real progress comes from doing, not just planning or theorizing. When you start putting your plans into action, you step into a stream of experiences that teach you lessons no theoretical learning can. So how do you move from planning to action? Start by breaking your tasks into smaller, more manageable parts. This reduces the overwhelm and makes it easier to begin. For example, if you're looking to start a new business, begin by researching the market or brainstorming product ideas, rather than worrying about getting an entire business plan polished from the start. By doing these smaller tasks, you build momentum, which makes it easier to tackle the bigger challenges. Next, set clear and immediate goals for yourself. These goals should be achievable and clearly defined so that you know exactly what you need to do. This clarity reduces procrastination, which often stems from uncertainty about what steps to take next. Each small goal you achieve will build your confidence and reinforce the habit of taking action. Additionally, cultivate a mindset that values effort over avoiding errors. It's okay to make mistakes. In fact, mistakes are often your most valuable learning opportunities. What's important is that you learn from them and continue to move forward. This is a core tenet of Stoicism, focusing on what you can control and letting go of what you cannot. You can't control outcomes, but you can control your efforts and your attitude towards mistakes and failures. Finally, encourage yourself to step out of your comfort zone. Taking action often means facing fears and uncertainties. Remember, courage is not the absence of fear, but the decision to act despite those fears. Each time you confront a challenge head-on, you not only get closer to your goals, but also build the personal strength that comes from knowing you can handle tough situations. By prioritizing action over perfection, you align yourself with the Stoic philosophy of practical wisdom. It's about embracing life as it is, not as you wish it would be, and taking steps every day to live according to your principles and goals. Remember, action is the bridge between your current situation and the life you want to lead. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Create it with each action you take, no matter how small. 7. Transform fear into a driving force. Fear is one of the most powerful forces in our lives. It can paralyze us, keeping us stuck in the same place, afraid to take risks or step into the unknown. But what if I told you that fear itself isn't the problem? The real issue is how we interpret it and what we do with it. Most people see fear as a sign to stop. But what if fear was actually pointing you in the right direction? What if, instead of avoiding it, you could harness it and use it as fuel for growth? The Stoics had a unique way of looking at fear. They didn't believe in eliminating it altogether. That's impossible. Instead, they believed in mastering it. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." In other words, fear is an internal reaction, not an external reality. It's a feeling we attach to situations, and feelings can be trained. You can either let fear dictate your actions or use it as a tool to sharpen your focus and push yourself forward. So how do you transform fear into a driving force rather than a barrier? The first step is reframing the way you see it. Instead of viewing fear as a stop sign, see it as a guide. Fear often signals that you're about to do something meaningful, something outside of your comfort zone. When you feel afraid before a big opportunity, it's not your mind telling you to retreat. It's telling you that this moment matters. Instead of saying, "I'm scared," start saying, "I'm excited." Your brain reacts to excitement and fear in similar ways, so by shifting your internal dialogue, you can transform fear into anticipation. Next, expose yourself to fear in small, controlled doses. Just like building physical strength, developing mental resilience requires training. If you're terrified of public speaking, start by speaking in front of a mirror, then practice with a small group, then work your way up to a larger audience. This gradual exposure rewires your brain to see fear as something you can handle rather than something to escape from. Seneca advised, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." Often what we fear is worse in our minds than in real life. By facing fear head-on, you start to prove to yourself that you are capable of handling far more than you once believed. Another powerful technique is to practice premeditatio malorum, a Stoic exercise in imagining worst-case scenarios. Instead of running from your fears, Confront them mentally. Ask yourself, what is the absolute worst thing that could happen? How would I handle it? Could I survive it? Most of the time, you'll realize that even if the worst happens, it's not the end of the world. This doesn't mean dwelling on negativity. It means preparing yourself mentally so that fear loses its grip on you. Action is the ultimate antidote to fear. The more you hesitate, the stronger fear becomes. But when you take even the smallest step forward, fear starts to shrink. Whether it's making a difficult phone call, starting a new venture, or putting yourself out there in a way you never have before, the key is movement. Seneca once wrote, "It is not because things are difficult that we do not dare, but because we do not dare that they are difficult." Fear feeds on inaction, but the moment you take action, you weaken its power over you. Fear is not your enemy. It's a teacher. It shows you where your greatest opportunities for growth lie. When you learn to work with fear rather than against it, you become unstoppable. Instead of running from discomfort, lean into it. Instead of waiting until you feel completely ready, take the leap and trust yourself to figure it out along the way. This is the Stoic way, not the absence of fear, but the mastery of it. And once you master fear, there is no limit to what you can achieve. At the end of the day, your mind is either your greatest ally or your biggest obstacle. The limits you believe in are the ones you've accepted, but they are not real. You have the power to reshape your thoughts, take bold action, and break through every barrier in your way. The Stoics taught us that strength isn't found in avoiding challenges, but in facing them with courage and wisdom. So as you step forward from this moment, remember, progress over perfection, action over hesitation, and resilience over fear. If this video resonated with you, don't stop here. Watch the next video on your screen to keep sharpening your mindset and unlocking your full potential. And if you haven't yet, make sure to subscribe and be part of Stoic Journal, where we grow stronger, one lesson at a time.